Greetings, my creative friends, and thanks for dropping in for another episode of Artsy AF Podcast. Couple orders of business here up top. I'd like to shout out the fact that I have a Patreon and shout out my main man's Jared Michael Trantham, also known as Lost Sailor Leather. He is the newest Patreon subscriber this week. You can find him at Lost Sailor Leather on Instagram. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. If you'd like to support the podcast, guess what? I've got 3 different tiers available on my Patreon, starting at $4 a month. And that address is patreon.com/artsyafpodcast. That's patreon.com/artsyafpodcast if you want to learn more and support the podcast. And my guest this week is the legendary John Speaker. John was former co-host with me back when we started this, and he pops in every now and then to say what's up, and we talk about a bunch of different things, not all art related. We talk a little bit about social media and having to figure out how to, I guess just figure out the bigger problem of information overload. We talk about people's behavior on the internet. We have a little bit of fun pretending John is a part of the Illuminati and has made clones of himself. We talk about the CoSM controversy a little bit, separating the art from the artist, how to conquer your inner critic, burnout and doubt, as well as self-motivation and being persistent. Big thanks and shouts, Johnny, for coming on last minute like this. Really appreciate you, bud. And I also want to plug the Threyda group show coming up, which I'm a part of, May 28th, 29th, Threyda Gallery, Denver, Colorado, on Santa Fe. I will put links in the description here. And yeah, just be sure to check it out. Come see a bunch of new art from a bunch of talented artists. Dropped my piece off there the other day, and everybody's stuff was looking absolutely amazing. So I'm very excited. Thank you again for being here. I've been feeling the love lately, so keep those shares, those subscriptions, those reviews coming. Really helps out a lot. And if you're really feeling it, head on over to patreon.com/rtfpodcast to support financially. And let's just jump right into it. John Speaker. All right.
I used to do that for a living. Use those cameras and shit.
I know. So
I'm still out of practice.
Look,
You dropped something.
this is going on the blooper reel. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Cuban B.
Ooh.
How's it feel to have the headphones back on, brother?
Feels great. You know, it feels like I love talking with the headphones on. It feels like you're in your own little like kind of bubble together.
Yeah, we're bubbling, dude.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, let's start with just a little improv, just a little warm-up exercise.
Okay.
All right, so let's just say hey to each other in like different tones of voice. Right? And just see how long we can go with that.
Hey.
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 Hey there.
Hey ya.
Hey. That's I'm a really good singer. I don't know if everybody can tell. Yeah, welcome. Welcome,
you.
John.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks
For being
for
here.
being here. There we go. There.
I forgot my line.
I'm gonna clip that.
Okay.
I'm gonna clip that. I'm gonna put you in.
Welcome to RTAF. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still say it.
Do you?
Yeah. I
That's
think
cool.
so. I think at the top of every intro I still say it.
That's cool. You stole my podcast. You stole my line.
Yeah. Stole your podcast. I'm really glad that that you let me steal it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You kind of, some would say that you gave it to me.
I did. Yeah.
Mm.
I was like, I can't handle all this pressure.
Do you feel nervous right now?
Um,
How are you feeling
well, yeah, I don't really feel sharp.
today?
Yeah, well, like lately I haven't felt sharp.
Yeah.
Well, it's just been like cloudy for days, and I think we get so spoiled with sun out here
Yeah.
that like I don't know how to handle cloudy weather anymore.
Yeah.
And I was driving over here, and I felt like I was like a floating head, and I was like barely connected to the road.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. I think that's how a lot of people drive.
Yeah,
That's how I drive. I make sure I'm completely dissociated before I get in the car, and then I just kind of press the gas as much as I can.
And you're still here. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, dude, thanks for coming on.
thanks for having me.
Yeah. So other than this shitty weather, how have you been?
You know, I've been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I've been better, but
Mhm.
I can't complain.
Totally.
It's like what was really cool was last week I live painted for the first time in
Nice.
over a year. Painted at the Mishawaka, really cool outdoor venue with a river flowing through it, and it was so cool. Like, before the whole pandemic thing, I was kind of jaded and kind of like anti live painting, and I was kind of like just a grump about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, just being able to finally get out there, see all these smiling faces again, and people are dancing, and like being able to talk to random people and just paint to some music and groove. Like, I've never had that much fun live painting in my life,
Yeah.
which was so cool. It's like so much of that stuff I just took for granted, and I just felt like so grateful and happy for
Uh-huh.
hours on end.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've really felt that way in a long time. So
Nice.
that was great.
Yeah.
That was like a little boost. But I don't know. Like, the world's still a little weird. It's been a weird year.
Definitely.
Just weird information. Social media feels weird.
But doesn't it feel like it's kind of like going back out, right?
It does, yeah.
You're just like, oh, it's like you just took the biggest like psychological dump.
Yeah.
Like I went
really
out. I went out yesterday for Andrew Davis's show at Ryan Joseph Gallery. Shouts,
Hell yeah.
and it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it was just a normal little like, gallery show, like schmoozing with other artists and
Totally.
and other just other people, but I was just so like, this is the greatest thing ever.
It really is.
I
I mean, we've been just starved of, like social interaction and just going out,
Yeah.
doing something,
Yeah. I was like hugging people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I don't know what it is about being, like just around different people,
Mm-hmm.
but it like energized me.
For sure. I mean, we're social creatures.
Yeah.
And we've all been kind of starved of that in various ways. So,
Yeah.
it's like being really thirsty and getting a nice cold glass of water with some lemon in it,
It's damn right. Damn.
Yeah, but I feel like a little bit of a lag.
Yeah.
Like the world's coming back online, but it's like, I feel like, it wasn't necessarily like a traumatic year, but it feels like I've been abused by reality a little bit, and it's
Yeah.
like taking me a while to kind of like build back out of that.
Build some trust again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've all been a bit abused by reality the last year. What happened to me? I feel like I was gaslighted or something.
Me too.
Like, because the first maybe 6 months of the pandy quarantine, I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, all the shit with George Floyd and all that stuff was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But like, other than that, I was like, no, this isn't bad. This is kind of how I've always lived my life. I'm just not seeing people as much.
Yeah. Well, it was novel.
Yeah, it was novel.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then like, now it's all the low level trauma that we experienced is catching up to me.
Mm-hmm. And I think I started seeing, I'm sure it's happening myself, but I was seeing it like in the collective too.
Yeah.
You kind of see this like discontent brewing, and there's a lot of like weird just posturing and weird information coming out, and like attacks and strangeness. I don't know, like I feel like I've had more people kind of come at me on social media than I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like just a lot of like disgruntled people.
Yeah.
And I just feel like there's this like weird tension in society, and
Yeah.
like we are like bombarded with misinformation from like both sides about what COVID was and how to deal with it,
Yeah.
and like every issue in the world. And I found it so confusing. Like I don't know what's true anymore. I don't know where to go for truth
Yeah.
and facts. And
Totally.
I
I think
know.
that's a huge problem,
Mm-hmm.
is the information problem. I mean, we saw The Social Dilemma, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the documentary on Netflix, for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's really great. It's about social media and what it does to your brain, and how they create these avatars basically of people,
Yeah.
and you fit into one avatar or another. They right now they're using it to sell you things, but since the internet was originally like built on a military platform, used for like putting everything on a grid more or less, you have to assume that like that kind of information will be used not just to sell you products, but to sell you
Propaganda.
ideology, whatever it is. And in like, I don't know, it's just crazy because I think I think it's pretty clear that we're being lied to just constantly by everybody. And so I don't know what to do about it other than like try and tell the truth as far as I can tell what the truth is, as much as I can,
Yeah. Yeah, it's so hard to build like a nuanced perspective
Yeah.
anymore. Like because of the whole like it's like wanting to be some sort of reasonable centrist type, trying to hear all the information happening and boil it down, and
Yeah.
like feeling almost like trying to be a good person, but feeling like gaslit for trying to be a good person. And
Yeah.
it's either like, either accept the mainstream narrative, or if you don't just blindly accept the thing that's the popular thing to think,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're like evil or bad.
Well, this has happened so many times. Like, if you go back to the 50s, it was like, if you smoke weed, you're a bad person,
Yeah.
But now it happens on the other side too. Like, if you believe anything about what the mainstream narrative is, you get called like a sheep, and like you're, contributing to like authoritarian government. And it's like,
I despise both of those.
Yeah, I know.
Both those polarities. It's not constructive. It's not
right.
It's like it can be very dehumanizing as well.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm confused about reality and I want to make informed decisions and assess risk in different areas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can the conversation open up a little more
Well,
to have it?
And I think like just in time right now, right? Like things are starting to open back up, and like I saw yesterday or heard yesterday, and I've heard it echoed, so I assume it's true. That mask mandate is like over.
Yeah, it's done in Colorado. Actually, I noticed the other day at the liquor store in Niwot. They don't have the mask sign anymore.
Nice.
So supposedly it's if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask, but nobody is allowed to ask you for, or they're not going to ask you for the card to tell. So
your papers, please.
Yeah.
Now, see, that's creepy.
Like
if that were happening, that's like, we all know that what that reminds us of is like, Germany in the 30s.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that that's supposedly not going to be happening.
Me too. Yeah. It's like, I'm glad that's happening because, by no means am I like anti getting the vaccination.
Yeah.
But I am anti having to like show papers to do
Exactly.
things.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that seems a little much.
Yeah.
That's like, all right. Yeah. I'm all the founded paranoia about the state becomes true once that is like no, we need to see your papers.
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Creeps me out.
Yeah. Well, shit, dude. Yeah, that's a thing.
I'm sure
I'm
everybody's
glad.
burnt out on hearing this kind
Yeah,
of
I
talk.
know. God. So how were the people at Mishawaka when you painted?
Dude, it was palpable. You could feel it in the air, the gratefulness
Mm-hmm.
and the excitement.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody was extra happy and loving, and I don't know, it just felt really great. And the music was awesome. Mystic Grizzly was headlining, really cool
Nice.
bass musician out of Florida.
Oh yeah.
But it was just a great crew. Everybody was so friendly,
Mm-hmm.
just having fun, and laughing and dancing, and I don't know, it was great.
Nice.
It's just that was like one of the most reassuring things I've felt in a long time. It's just be among a ton of strangers. We're all there just to love, you know.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was inspiring.
That's awesome.
It's like I'm really looking forward to seeing more of that.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Same.
Hell yeah.
It's funny, like the things that we take for granted and that even become things we complain about. Once it's taken away, it all of a sudden becomes like the best thing in the fucking world.
Yeah. In a way, it's like, you know, if I like tune into the Ram Dass channel or something, it's grace, you know.
Yeah.
It's such a blessing and a beautiful lesson, actually, to kind of be jaded about these things and have it taken away, and then you get it back, and then you realize, like, oh, I'm so grateful to be able to do these kind of things and share these moments with these people.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to forget that, you know. And I lost sight of it at a certain point, you know. Like, yeah, we were just riding on a crazy momentum before this whole thing happened, and it was chaos of everything happening at once, you know.
Yeah.
8 million shows, art shows, just
Yeah.
people, I don't know, the economy churning and everything, and then all that just the rug gets pulled out from everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping as we return, you know, hopefully there'll be like a little more peace and gratefulness, and I don't know.
That's how I felt yesterday.
Yeah.
It's just everything seemed super chill. There weren't any weird vibes at all.
Yeah, like maybe drama will be lessened. It'll be more just appreciation, but
hopefully.
You never know.
Yeah, you know, we've all had rough years in one form or another, and I'm just glad. Again, I know we're just kind of circling around the same topic right now, but I'm just glad to just see people again, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first podcast I've done in person since Mike, who's my neighbor, he's in my bubble, and then before that it was you're in my bubble, and hopefully I can, you know, have more.
Yeah, totally.
We're here in my it's like in Mike's backyard, Mike Dempsey, episode 68.
You should have had me for 69.
I know. Shout out 5 a.m. for being episode 69. Yeah. Nice. But yeah, we're in my studio, Mike's garage, old grow. It's like an old, you know, little grow warehouse. I set up this green screen here. What do you think I should put on the green screen, John? You had a pretty good suggestion earlier.
Outer space.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's what it was.
Maybe like a field of like little lambs or something. Like
sheep.
Alpacas or sheep. Yeah.
Sheeple.
Think a little. Yeah. That'd be perfect. Yeah. We're of the flock, you know.
Yeah. We're getting vaccinated.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Yeah, but it's nice to be here doing an in-person interview, and just shout out to that because everybody on the Patreon will be seeing the video. So if you want to check out this video, me and John sitting here, subscribe to the Patreon. It's $4 a month, and that's $48 a year, and that's not a lot, you know. Support your boy.
Yeah, it's worth $4 just to see me on camera.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking really good today.
Yep. You got your I like fun shirt on. I like having fun shirt.
Yeah. I like to laugh. I like to have fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, one thing I want to circle back. There's a good podcast phrase.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. Call back, circle back. I want to circle back to what you were saying. You know, we were kind of talking about like things being taken away from you and then being grateful for them. There's this, I think it's a Stoic concept, but it's called memento mori. You heard of this?
No.
It's just like think upon your death,
Mm.
right? And so like everything that you do is at some point in your life, it will be the last time that you do that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a call to action to stay like present in the moment and be grateful for even like the small menial tasks that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me, that brings to mind for me, like when I'm like washing dishes or doing something that's like a chore that just has to be done. How much better is it to be able to do that than to be like 96 and like you can't actually even bend over
That's true.
without your back like killing you, you know?
Yeah. If you're like bedridden, maybe all you would want to do is just, I want to wash the dishes
Yeah,
one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Well, yeah, because that's like, we'll circle it back again.
Yeah.
But, like the live painting thing, it was
Yeah.
taken away. I was taking it for granted. It was taken away and then it came back and I enjoyed it so much. So like why, extend that to anything is to be present with it, enjoy it. Cause it's like I could die on the way home. This is the last time I have a podcast.
Right.
It's like,
Right?
it'd be really great to
Ooh,
just,
don't die on the way home. That would be so fucked up.
I won't.
Okay, good. Okay. You promise?
Yeah. I'll do my best.
Okay. So how does it feel to be, you made your first million this year, right?
2 actually.
2 million.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm creating a gigantic art empire,
Mm-hmm.
selling $20 prints. That's a lot of prints.
How many would that would be what? 500,000? No. It would be 50,000 prints.
It's a lot. Well, the thing is like,
You have more than 50,000
Yeah.
followers.
like, yeah, if you had, like it would never happen, but it'd be so cool. Like if every one of your followers gave you $10 a year,
Yeah.
you'd be rolling in dough.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've heard about the 1,000 true fans thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, and by the way, just for anyone who's confused on whether we're joking or not, you did not make $1 million this year.
I made 3 million.
3 million. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
So you sold 150,000 $20 prints.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very nice. Very
Thanks.
nice.
Yeah.
You're a busy guy.
Yeah, it's like I spend my whole life just rolling up prints, taking them to the post office, and
Dude, if you sold 150,000 prints a year, you'd have to have a fucking sweatshop.
I know.
And that, yeah.
I sweat in my basement a lot while I'm doing it. And then I have a ghost painter that actually does all the paintings.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You just tell him like, I want a crazy eyeball guy right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Make it super trippy.
You cloned yourself.
Yeah.
So, but you're the original, right? That
no,
I'm talking to right now.
I've actually never made art.
Oh.
But-
No, but I'm saying like
Oh, the original
John Speaker.
John. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think they've made human clones?
Of course.
I think they have.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's people walking around right now that don't know that they're a clone,
Probably.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, if they cloned a sheep in like 1997 or something,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And we found out about it then. Do you think that's the first time they did it?
No.
Mm-mm. The Illuminati, they're up to some crazy shit, man.
You're a part of the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I sell so many prints
Mhm.
because, we send out subliminal messages.
Oh.
Yeah. And everybody's like, oh my God, I got to have that art.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And talk about your time. How did you get inducted into the Illuminati? And it's like the Triangle Club, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the triangle with the eyeball.
Oh, yeah.
That's
The
how you
eyeball.
know. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Well, yeah, I come from a long line of Illuminatis.
Illuminats.
Yeah, Illuminats. Yeah, so it's been passed down. It's actually in our blood, in my DNA.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And so, when I was about like 10 years old, my grandfather, he took me for a drive, and he's like, so you're the Illuminati. Like, we're the illuminated ones. We see everybody else is fake.
Did you almost swallow your lollipop? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah. That was actually the initiation.
Oh, okay.
So swallow that
You
lollipop
actually
right
had
now.
to swallow it.
It
whole.
activates the gene.
Okay.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden I could see my third eye was open.
And then they cloned you.
Yeah.
And they were like, this one is going to make the art.
Mm-hmm.
And then, this one is going to roll the prints.
Exactly.
Okay. Got it.
Essentially, yeah, we're going to clone you, and then you and your clones, you're going to run the art department of the Illuminati.
Oh, my God.
And we're gonna put out this art, like, not you're awake, and my grandfather, and my dad, and my mom, they're all awake. It's like,
okay. Am I awake?
No.
Okay.
Everybody else is asleep. Their third eyes are super closed.
They're a sleeple.
Yeah.
They're sleeples.
Yeah.
They're not sheeple. They're not even sheep yet. They're sleeples.
Yeah, they're like ghosts or something.
Ghosts.
Yeah.
Hungry ghosts.
Yeah, and they're like you're gonna make super colorful art, and it's gonna make people feel joy and good. But what it really does is make them stay asleep. So we can keep all the control.
Mollifies them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like my uncle George Bush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Herbert Walker or just Dubs?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
They're both your uncle. How's that work? Great uncle.
Great uncle.
Oh, gotcha.
Regular uncle.
Yeah, Herbert Walker Bush. He was just all around great guy.
Yeah, he was great.
He really built this country up with like being a part of the OS, right?
Yeah.
OSS. Sorry.
OSS.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what does that stand for again. I think it was anyway. It was a precursor to the CIA.
Yeah,
and then he was the head of the CIA. Great institution.
Totally.
Just love those guys and gals. They love empire, which is what we love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Domination,
Yeah.
control.
Yeah, it's our thing.
Mm-hmm. So they run the political side of things.
Oh, okay.
And then they funnel all the money towards my art project.
Got it.
And then that has an effect on people that makes them trust the government, and it's this like infinity loop.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Man, you're such a shill. I admire you so much for being such a, government shill.
Why not?
It's fun. Okay, so obviously we're joking, but like, I really hope no one took us seriously for those 5 minutes. That was good. We went for a long time that time.
I know.
But all that stuff was a joke. But don't you think it's funny when people come at you online and basically they say stuff like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, just this week it was kind of like disturbed me a little bit. But somebody like commented, I just made like a cute little mini painting and it had an eyeball in it.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, is your third eye open? They're like, you wouldn't be painting the third eye all cheerful and peaceful if your third eye was really open.
Yeah.
And they also called me a chump.
Because if your third eye's open, you get to call people chumps, dude.
Yeah.
Don't you know that?
Yeah.
You got carte blanche to just call anybody whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
It's not, that's not spiritual materialism. It's just truth.
Yeah. But that kind of stuff, though, like, it makes me, like, sad.
Yeah.
Too, because it's like somebody's obviously, like, not doing okay.
Or maybe they've seen too much because their third eye's open.
Yeah. Like, real wide. Yeah.
Yeah. Too wide.
But, yeah. Yeah.
Gaping.
You want to keep your third eye, like, squinting.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, stuff like that I find really interesting. What I think is people, I think just social media or something, like, it does some, like, this person doesn't know me.
Right.
But they already have decided who I am.
Based off what you post.
Yeah. And then there's also, like, I also wonder if we probably all do this to an extent, like, kind of dehumanize people on social media. Like, not actually see that, like, this person posting is they're a full human being.
Yeah, they're
with
living,
a whole
breathing.
life and nuance, and everybody's on their path and doing their thing. And I don't know, that aspect's really weird. I've noticed more of that lately,
Mm-hmm.
and just like really strange, obscure comments that don't make a lot of sense, and are making like strange assumptions and all that. And I think, I'm sure a lot of other artists experience it too. And one of the things that I think the artist's role is to do is, regardless of that kind of criticism or weird things, is not to allow anybody to bully you out of
What you're doing.
articulating through your artistic medium whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
And I think the more we can afford everybody the freedom to express themselves freely, the greater the conversation is, the more information we have flowing out there to pick from and play with, and like don't and like resist assuming malice.
Oh yeah.
Because maybe somebody's
just dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just like, sometimes I'm in a place in my life where, like we're all in different places in our lives. And like, even if somebody makes like political art that you don't agree with, like it doesn't mean that they're a bad person.
Like, who cares?
They're just expressing from where they are or something. And,
yeah.
And even in a way is like art is kind of inherently peaceful. I mean,
yeah,
like
it is. Even if you're like, painting a portrait of, Trump.
Yeah.
Or whoever. Or any let's just say any politician, because like they're all kind of slimy pieces of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting.
It's almost like you're waking up that day and you're deciding to paint a picture instead of going out and like
yelling at someone,
or harassing people.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm really confused at the obscure, strange comments that come at you. But the other thing is too,
I think it triggers people. Like the eye on the triangle definitely triggers people.
Well, it's so funny because the whole reason that I do that is because it was trying to take this symbol that's turned into a symbol of paranoia.
Yeah.
And the artist's role is to take things that have been hijacked for seemingly evil reasons and take it back to its original intention.
Nice.
Which is pointing towards the enlightened mind.
Right.
So, and that's what I'm trying to like cultivate, is like we don't have to be paranoid of other people having power, because when we're paranoid and we think people have this power over us and we're powerless, that gives them their power.
Yeah.
And the whole intention is to take the symbol and take it back to its roots of pointing towards the enlightened mind, and that deep wisdom is inside of us.
Yeah.
Everybody. And when we accept that, it's like the power then becomes equalized, and you realize how powerful human beings are, and we do have this wisdom inside of us.
Right.
If only we can afford ourselves to let go of the paranoia and actually listen to this wellspring of wisdom arising from inside of us,
Definitely.
And that's the whole thing. It's so funny because, well, I guess you're taking a risk in a way of doing that. And, and some people can get it twisted and think that you're somehow like satanic or demonic or something, where the entire intention is the exact opposite. It's about kind of fostering or pointing towards the fact that like every individual is powerful.
Right.
And when we all realize our individual power collectively,
we can change the world.
Yeah, we can change the world.
Yeah.
It fosters peace and all that stuff. So
yeah, do you ever think like that the biggest conspiracy isn't like, whether, pick one, it's not World Trade Center, it's not it's not whatever COVID being a man-made virus. It's none of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really just like convincing people that they have no control over their own lives.
Exactly.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then kind of giving your power to politicians and news talking heads, sacrificing your power to them.
Yeah.
And then when we do that, all of a sudden we start hating each other.
No, see, that's the trick, I feel like,
mm-hmm.
is like there are definitely powerful people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a conspiracy. There's like, they're probably all a bunch of old white dudes.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part. And I think that the trick is like, if there is a conspiracy, is to get just like common people just like hating each other.
Exactly.
And that's the distortion that you see when someone is like, bro, you Illuminati.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, man, come
It's
on.
like, of everything going on in the world, the evil is me painting an eyeball on an 8x10 canvas. Of
Yeah,
everything happening
exactly.
in the world, like, that is the problem. It's like,
And I know, and it's like, how does even one individual go about like tackling like evil institutions in the world that, like American imperialism
yeah.
that's like, taking democratically elected officials and kicking them out and installing whatever kind of state government that will play ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad thing. I don't know
Totally.
how any individual is like thinks. I don't even know like if just talking about it does anything,
Yeah.
right?
I
But
know.
it's like, to me, that's like one of the biggest problems,
Yeah.
like the military industrial complex.
Mm-hmm.
And I also try and see that, or I'll also try and imagine like what it would be like to be a general or something.
Yeah.
And like, you're so invested in this thing and you believe that it has to keep happening,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think there's so much momentum that it's hard to know where to start, right?
Yeah.
And people, I think, naturally have a lot of, anger and fear and just negative emotion
Mm-hmm.
that's unprocessed.
Yeah.
And so like unprocessed resentment sometimes gets taken out on just the easiest target
Exactly.
because you don't have to really do any work. It's not like it's not like the military industrial complex has an Instagram.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Exactly.
I wish they did.
Yeah.
People would just shit all over him in the comments. But then it would just start a fight between people who are like pro-military. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's no, I don't know.
I always think of, like, I always defer to the phrase "tend to the part of the garden you can touch."
Yeah.
So that's, whether it is, your neighbor, your friends, or even being on Instagram, like anywhere that you're actually interacting with people, is being nice and peaceful and trying to understand and work with like what's in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
I think the tend to the part of the garden you can touch, like, social media is a little diffused in a way, but it's like but the more we can be present with what we're doing and try to empathize with other people, understand each other, instead of being so quick to want to take people down or win,
Yeah.
is like, I think that's how we change the world. Like, if everybody at the drop of a hat said, okay, I'm going to tend to the part of the garden I can touch, I'm going to be a friend of my neighbor,
Yeah.
be understanding, compromise. If everybody did that, that would create a shift in reality.
Like a better world.
Yeah. But instead, like, if the part of the garden we're trying to tend to is the president,
Yeah.
like, you're 80 bajillion layers removed from that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can talk and bitch about it all day and nothing's going to happen. But like, shit does happen when you're just friendly to people that you pass on the street.
Yeah.
Or like buy your groceries from.
Yeah.
And like see them as a full human being.
Yeah.
And like, maybe you come across somebody and they're, maybe they're wearing clothing that tips you off to like, oh, that person's on a different political team than me or something. Instead of like feeding into this weird idea that we're like a divided civilization, divided society. Instead is like, resist the urge to judge the book by its cover and instead like just embrace that human being as a human being and meet them on the human level.
Yeah.
I think that's really the only way we can actually change shit.
Yeah.
I mean, not the only way, but
It's a good way.
I think you have to be very highly educated to actually be an effective activist.
That's a good point. I want to point out that neither of us, I'll speak for myself, I don't know what I'm talking about. All I do is listen to like, edgy podcasts about whatever, American history and stuff. And then I just sort of parrot it back on my own podcast. Because like, that's what you do, right?
That's what everybody
That's
does.
what the industry is.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as I can tell. But I'm also trying to be like not serious about it because like I'd rather be silly than serious, I think. I think that's how I lean.
Little levity. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you got to be really, really sure about what you're talking about if you're really serious about something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you really got to know. You got to be wise.
You got to know your shit.
to really be serious.
Yeah.
It's like if we're really honest with ourselves, we don't really know that much about most stuff that we get fired up about.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Other than like telling the truth, I think
Yeah,
it's that's kind of all you can do.
exactly.
And yeah, I'd rather be a little goofy than try and be like, well, there's the mRNA and spike proteins, So
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, it's like I don't know shit, dude.
Yeah, everybody's like a virologist now and shit.
That's great. It's great. Like your Aunt May is like telling you you're following the herd,
Yeah.
and she's on some QAnon shit. I don't have any relatives on QAnon. I'm just using fictional character. But whatever.
My aunt actually is Q.
Is she?
Yep.
She's Q.
Yeah.
Your aunt is Ron Watkins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did you watch that documentary?
No.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
You haven't seen it.
No.
It's on HBO. It's called Into the Storm, I think. I was talking about this yesterday with people at the gallery. I think it was Allie and David. Shouts. But yeah, dude, it's an incredible documentary. Have you seen The Jinx?
Yeah.
It's like that. The
Okay.
ending is like that.
Okay.
It's a lot like that. It's not as like completely damning as The Jinx is, because I don't think that, for people who don't know, I got to set up some fucking context here. Like, The Jinx is about this dude, I think his name was Robert something, but he was super rich, and people thought that he committed these murders, but there was no way to pin it on him. So they did this whole documentary about him. They interviewed him, and on the last episode, big spoiler alert right here.
Whoop, whoop.
On the last episode, spoiler alert, one more time, he, they're like, all right, well, we're done. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go to the bathroom. He leaves his mic on. And so he's taking a piss and like talking to himself. And he's like, don't let him know you did it. It's like, yeah, but you can't let them know, but I killed him. I killed them both.
Oh my God.
And it opened up this whole like actual legal case against him. And I think he's in prison, or he's definitely at least in trial. But this QAnon documentary is like very similar in that like you kind of find out who Q is at the end.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to spoil it. Fuck it. I think it's important. You don't mind?
No.
Okay. Because so these guys started 8chan, right?
Mm.
And they kind of stole it from the original creator, sort of kicked him out. They had a falling out. They all live in the Philippines, and I think that's the reason why they live there, is to run their like shitty, just like cesspool of a website.
Yeah.
I mean, they allow, and I mean, okay, in the documentary they go into this. The guy who originally started 8chan is like, all right, you've got to stop free speech somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, free speech I'm totally pro free speech, but when you have like groups of like Nazis and other extreme like people who aren't just talking about shit, but they're doing shit.
Yeah.
Like the New Zealand shooter in Christchurch.
Crosses the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of like spawned out of 8chan. But the guys who like created it, it's a father and son.
Mm.
And the father was like a Marine, former CIA.
Mm.
Basically, too long didn't read. I don't want to tell the whole fucking story. Is that like Q is a psyop.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was used to just flare up the alt-right, the extreme right, and then further divide people into like camps of extremes, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how I got off on that fucking tangent.
I don't remember either.
Yeah. But anyway, okay, let's do a little improv.
Okay.
Okay. All right. You be the guy, messaging you on Instagram.
Okay.
Or no, you be you,
Okay.
and I'll be the guy messaging you on Instagram.
Okay.
Oh God, look at this fucking shill. He doesn't even know what he's doing. Type. Hey, buddy. If your third eye were really open, you would. Fuck you, man. Chump. Send. Now, what do you do?
I look at it, I go, oh God. Okay. My heart rate's increasing.
Yeah.
My breath is short. All right. Now, don't feed in. Don't get mad back.
Mm.
And then I would respond with something like, hey, if you're not satisfied with the art that I'm making, maybe you could consider making the art that you would like to see in this world,
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't type anything back, and I just go back to work at rallies.
And then I would probably go over to my friend's house and be like, hey, guys, look at this comment.
And then we'd all laugh at it.
Yeah.
No, I just think it's really funny when people will literally use anything, even like spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
right, as a way to get mad, and maybe even especially spirituality, right, as a way to condemn and get mad at other people.
Yeah. Ego inflation. I mean,
Yeah.
It's like we can use anything to inflate our ego,
Yeah.
and it's like the spiritual superiority shit is I find it to be one of the most hilarious parts of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I always thought, at least to my mind, like spirituality or the occult, all that stuff, I always thought it was kind of to like dissolve the ego and
Yeah.
to let reality wash over you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you kind of like, it's like just kind of accept things as they are in a sense. And then if you're dissatisfied with what things are, then you use your creative powers in order to manifest things into reality
Yeah.
that meet that vision of what you would like reality to
Right.
be, instead of wasting your time yelling at other people.
Yeah. It's not their fault,
Yeah. Yeah.
just because like your life isn't the way you want it to be, or like the world isn't the way you want it to be. Like,
Well, it's
I
like
don't know.
if we paid attention to critics, it's like, what do I need to, like, should I call you before I make a painting to make sure you're okay with it?
You should.
Like, yeah.
Dude, that'd be hilarious. Oh my God. Can we look up this guy's number? Like, I know sometimes people link their Instagram accounts to their number.
No, I'm scared.
That'd be fucked up. I could call him from my phone.
I'm scared of poking the bear.
Okay.
I'm already scared of talking about it on this podcast.
Really?
'cause
Okay.
if he hears it,
Okay.
just because like I don't want to like.
Look, buddy, like we don't hate you.
No.
We just think that like maybe there's some things that you could do before you're coming at an artist who's not making anywhere close to $1 million.
Yeah.
Right? Like you could, I don't know, take a walk outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's just funny.
Well, there's also this aspect that, I don't know if like people that make comments like that even really care, but like I don't want to sound whiny or anything, but
Sure.
that stuff kind of like it hurts too.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel good.
Right.
And like it can lead to just, I don't know, like sadness and depression in certain ways. Like it, like mean shit on the internet, like hurts the person that it's going towards.
It's not cool. I mean, like punch up.
Yeah.
Or don't even punch laterally.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's my whole point, I think, too, getting back to like this episode's brought to you by Zen.
Ooh.
Zen, the tobacco pouch that I use.
Nicotine. There's no tobacco in it.
There's no fucking right. But yeah, punch up. I don't know. Punch up at, industrial farming or whatever you feel large institutions that are fucking up the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because, okay, the fractional reserve banking system,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Yeah.
A politician, punch up,
Yeah.
always fair game.
Yeah.
But it's like a fucking artist.
I know.
You know what I mean?
It's just like
Or
really
like
confusing to me.
when people come at comedians and stuff, and it's like they're joking.
Yeah.
Or people come at, or sometimes there's legit reasons, right, to come at people.
Yeah.
For sure. Like,
I think we're trying to find out what is worth criticizing,
right.
and how much of a price somebody should pay for making a mistake or doing something intentionally bad.
Yeah.
We're all kind of figuring this out in the public real time.
Yeah. I think that's what, but it's just funny when people are like, I think what you're doing is bad, and no one else is like jumping on their train.
Yeah. Well, especially too is like assuming somebody's character that you don't even know. That's something that I don't know how you make that leap.
Yeah.
Like how you could see a painting somebody made and you know who that person is. It's like, we all have to maybe exercise a little, pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like, I'll be completely honest, whenever I scroll through Instagram, I'll think of so many shitty comments I could make on people's posts, but I never do it. And I always like filter that through, like, hold on, like,
is this making the world a better place?
Yeah. Tap into your inner guru or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, this person deserves love.
Mm-hmm.
Like either support and appreciate, give props, or you can just move on. Because nobody's forcing you to follow anybody either. Like if you don't like what somebody's doing, you just unfollow them, and then then it doesn't affect you anymore.
Yeah.
But.
That's so. I just thought about something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about it, but if you don't want to talk about it, we can cut it out.
Let's hear
the whole Alex and Allison Gray thing.
Oh yeah.
I know it's like late,
mm-hmm.
But I think you're the first person I've had on the podcast since then that gives enough of a shit, and that I know well enough.
Yeah.
To talk about it.
Mm.
Like, that was some pretty crazy shit,
right?
How do you feel about it?
Well, I'm kind of confused because I don't necessarily know all the information. I don't know.
See, I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Is that we don't know
because
all the information.
You can hear like one person's side of things, but you don't hear the whole picture of what happened. Like are the Grays, are they abusive, or did somebody maybe put them on a pedestal that they weren't really asking for or deserving, and how does that all play out, and like all these kind of things is like I don't want to be like
making a state.
Like I don't want to. I would hate to call people abusers that aren't, and I would also hate to like victim blame or something like that too.
Right.
And the thing is like I just don't like. I would have to sit down and have a conversation or hear more than just like Instagram comments to really
for sure
know how to speak on something.
For sure.
And I see a lot of people just leap in either direction and like double, triple, quadruple down.
Yeah.
But I really don't like to do that because there's always so much more nuance in a situation than we like to believe.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't want to like devalue anybody's experience, and I also don't want to demonize somebody that's not deserving of it.
Right.
I think like as far as like people not involved jumping on and like digging in to like every nook and cranny of the Grays that they possibly can.
Yeah.
Like I was just thinking the other day that maybe like those busy criticizing somebody's rise to greatness are busy not being great themselves.
Yeah.
But like but I also like I don't know, the whole thing is just kind of I don't know. I'm confused about it, to be honest.
I think it's confusing because like it seems like that some, however extreme it was, some form of like hurt happened, right?
Yeah.
Like someone felt hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of zeroed in on Allison. right?
Yeah.
Being the perpetrator of like, kind of like edgy and nasty
Yeah.
like words,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's not cool.
No.
Like, especially when your whole brand is this spiritual thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is why people just instinctively this is why people have their like hangups with visionary art,
Mm.
because they know about how gurus have manipulated people in the past.
Yeah.
And like if you look at CoSM's kind of like trajectory, they're definitely going for this kind of, I'll say cult. Fuck it, I'll say it. Like it seems a look like they don't look good on YouTube.
Mm.
To people who don't know, I've been
Yeah.
there. It was great.
Yeah.
I didn't feel any bad vibes at all.
Mm.
I did the whole breakfast the next morning with Alex and Allison, the brunch thing, and Alex just gives you his like full fucking attention when he's talking to you,
Yeah.
like you're an artist on par with him or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've only ever really like talked with. I haven't really interacted with Allison much, but
Yeah.
I've interacted with both of them, and they were both very, very kind and supportive and
For sure.
encouraging.
But at the same time, it's like if you were just new to the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you hadn't heard of Alex Gray or Allison at all,
Yeah.
and you watch like one of their YouTube videos, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
I see why people have red flags about it.
Yeah. I mean, they're also like in their 60s.
Yeah, and I think also like I'm not from the East Coast proper,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Like there's an edginess to like living in New York City for a long time
Well, yeah.
that you have to have, and I don't think that excuses someone from being like a total shithole.
Yeah.
But
Also,
but
yeah.
like I don't know, again, and I don't want to speak out of school because like I've never really they wouldn't know who the fuck I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's fine because
Mhm.
they're huge.
Yeah.
But it does seem like there may have been some kind of like power game going on,
Mm.
and that I don't know. I wish that they would publicly address it,
Yeah.
because, and I think that I think she took those things down. I think Jonas took those things down.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know what to think, but it's like
Mm.
this big kind of like, it's not shocking to everybody, but it's a shockwave in the community, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I was looking at it and I realized like none of us really know what it's like to be building a multi-million-dollar art temple,
Nah.
and like none of us also make art to the level that Alex Gray does to house this stuff. And I can't imagine like taking on crazy debt to make this place. They have to sell paintings for like $500,000 and shit.
Yeah.
And like I think Allison runs a lot of like that end
The
of
admin.
the stuff.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine, and like nobody listening to this really knows what that pressure feels like.
Right.
So like I wouldn't be surprised if you'd be kind of like an asshole sometimes because
Yeah.
you're dealing with such high level shit.
Yeah.
But that's also not an excuse for abuse
Or manipulation.
Yeah, like if there was like abuse and manipulation, like that is not cool. But
yeah.
I would allow slack for somebody being an asshole sometimes.
Yeah.
Dealing with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like where's the line and what had happened, and it just seems like something we can't I don't
exactly comment on.
Yeah.
But it again, all this is kind of speculation because I never worked there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what being on staff was like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, to me, in my experience, they were very nice.
Yeah.
They were very nice. But I definitely didn't look Allison in the eye.
Yeah.
Nope. I averted. I was like, yeah, no, I'm kidding.
And I think like, it's tough too. I think that brings up like another question, at least, like, should we or should we not separate the artist from the art?
That's always, that's the eternal that's one of those questions that I can ask on every podcast.
Because
it's
like
great. I love it.
So many creative masters throughout time have been like kind of assholes in
Dali.
certain ways. Picasso.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But
more can come to mind, I'm sure.
but their art is still incredible, and we still
Right.
appreciate that. And I think what I really appreciate about the Grays is they're well, they've made amazing art,
Yeah.
and they've like kind of opened doors for other trippy artists to do their thing.
Right. There would
And
be
they've,
no You and Me without Alex Gray
Yeah,
and Allison too,
exactly.
because
Yeah, like I got turned on to art once I saw Alex's kissing painting. I was never like really into art, and then once I saw that painting, I was like, "Oh shit, art can be this."
yeah,
And it really like turned me on, you know. And then also
you got like aroused.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, critically turned on.
Sorry. Go ahead.
And then also like they've been really amazing teachers. They've
Mhm.
been able to like uncover wisdom from so many different cultures throughout millennia, throughout the world, and weave it together
Yeah.
into coherent things for us McDonald's,
Wait.
Nickelodeon,
Wait.
US kids.
Oh, okay, got
You
you.
know what I mean?
Okay,
Like-
got you.
like
I was like
We've grown up in such like a strange kind of like bastardized,
corporate society.
yeah, commercialized culture, and like they really, brought a lot of clarity and I don't know, help weave a greater picture of wisdom.
Yeah.
And for those things, I'm very
I'm
appreciative.
very grateful
of them.
for sure.
So like, I think a lot of the time when maybe certain people find out unsavory things about a person,
Mhm.
they want to throw out the entire.
Baby with the bathwater kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm always confused. Is like like if there's a comedian that gets canceled for saying something wrong, like is their comedy still funny? And like,
Well,
or like what level of
here's where I personally kind of like draw the line.
Mm,
Two things. Like if the artist is dead, who gives a fuck, right?
yeah,
Like unfortunately, Michael Jackson can't answer to what he did,
yeah,
right?
mhm,
Am I going to listen to Off the Wall again? I probably will. I haven't
Yeah.
since all that shit came out,
yeah,
but I probably will. It's a great fucking album.
mhm,
Like whatever. And the other thing, like, and Dolly too, like he got a little into fascism. Like
yeah,
fuck that.
mhm,
Completely fuck that. Do I love his art? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first art I saw when I was a little kid. My dad had a Dali book, and I was just like blown the fuck away.
mhm,
And it's probably a reason why I was so attracted to like drawing and making pictures,
yeah,
because you can see the top level of that.
mhm,
It's like inspiring, no matter what,
sure,
right? Alex Gray's stuff is super inspiring.
totally.
But then the other thing that I'm totally blanking on right now. What is it? Oh, the difference between words and actions, right?
Mhm,
Like a comedian, you have to know that it's all jokes, right?
yeah,
I think comedians have this kind of like, they don't get a full pass when they say like stuff that's not funny, like Kramer,
mhm, yeah.
like that wasn't cool.
It was pretty egregious.
It was pretty awful.
Crossed the line.
Awful.
It
dude.
wasn't trying to be funny anymore. It was just rage.
He was mad.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh, okay, like,
yeah,
and no one listens to that guy anymore.
no,
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, there's a difference between words and actions, right?
mhm,
You got to let people kind of think out loud, right?
totally.
And that's kind of what we're doing with this situation right now.
Yeah, and I hope anybody listening, if you have like a problem with anything I've said or anything like that, maybe instead of like maybe attacking me, I'm just trying to like learn
Yeah,
and
same.
create like an educated perspective, so like we could talk about
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
which would be cool if you could if you could afford us that
Yeah, yeah.
opportunity,
Yeah.
just to like
Yeah,
have
please.
a conversation,
Yeah.
because like I don't want to. I'm not trying to be inflammatory or anything. I don't know. I just don't really understand fully what's
Yeah.
went on or is
Same.
going on. And
Same. And I fully realize that yes, words can hurt people and hurt their feelings and all that stuff, but it's all about context, right?
Mhm.
Like one of my favorite podcasts is Bad Friends.
Yeah.
And you turned me on to that. Thank you, by the way.
Hell yeah.
I binged it all last week while I was finishing this painting. And they say some like what would be fucked up shit, but it's obviously like jokes. It's
Yeah.
all jokes, right?
Mhm.
And so the context, and they're not gonna get canceled because like it's context.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's funny,
Mhm.
and it helps. It's like an Asian guy and a white guy, and they just like, they make fun of each other, and they
Mhm.
make fun of the whole idea of like racism by saying things that by like caricaturing like a
Exactly.
racist dude from the South, like
Mhm. Which like takes all the sting or the weight out of it in a
right,
way.
because it's like
They're pointing at
they're
racism and laughing at it.
they're like, what fucking idiot
Yeah.
still actually thinks this way?
Exactly.
But then the flip side of that too is like, since I don't really, I wanted to ask you this question, like, what hill are you willing to die on?
Hmm.
Do you have one? I think it's okay if like you don't too, like
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like don't necessarily know what hill I'll die on until it gets to that point in a way.
until you're
It's-
dead.
Yeah. I think freedom of expression
Yeah.
is like individual expression. Like I really think people should be able to express themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know necessarily like what hill I would die on.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's because like you can say people can say shit, but like I don't know how courageous or how much of a coward I actually am. And nobody
Yeah.
nobody really knows until the time comes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like you are staring death in the face, like
Right.
So I have no idea
Yeah.
because yeah,
I think freedom of expression is a good one because like if people aren't free to express themselves, it'll come out in a violent way, you know?
yeah,
And I think that's part of the, that's other than the Q psyop, like that's part of the problem with like the Capitol riot is that all these, and for fuck's sake, like get your shit together, but like all those people felt like they weren't being heard by politicians, but guess what? No one's heard by fucking politicians.
yeah,
It's like, welcome to the club,
yeah,
guys. Like,
yeah,
like the fact that you think that politics will ever save you is ludicrous. I think.
yeah,
I think we all need to come to terms with that. But yeah, I think those people just felt like they were unheard.
disenfranchised.
They're poor white people mostly, I think.
Yeah,
Or they're, and you can't help how you were raised. You can't help who you were born to. And I think the hill,
like where you were born.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think the hill that I would probably die on is the whole idea that that free will is like an ultimate reality, like that those people were free to choose the good side or the side of like not being a violent idiot at the Capitol, right? And I think again, I'll say that I think there was a lot of manipulation going on.
For sure.
You look at the Capitol thing, and it looks exactly like the troops storming Baghdad several years ago, right? That's what it looks like.
I suppose. Yeah.
It's an op, right? It's an operation. But yeah, I just kind of want to get your take on on that.
Yeah, and I think like something else that's like worth considering with all these kind of situations is what mistakes are people allowed to make. And well, like, because if I look at my own life, is like I've made mistakes. Like I've been a shitty person in certain situations.
Same, I think.
But then I learn and I grow from them.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about like people that start to have a public platform, and like I do now too. And it makes me kind of like nervous in a way because, I do my best to be a good person, but I'm not perfect. And what amount of imperfection do we allow?
Yeah.
And what room is there for people to redeem themselves and all that? I think like, just factoring all that stuff, it's really confusing to me. And I just don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't know what's going on with all of that because I think, we have to protect people from abuse and stuff
Absolutely.
like that. But then we also have to allow people to grow and evolve and learn, because we're all human beings, and that's like what being human is being imperfect and
learning.
yeah, and we have ideals, but like nobody is the ideal.
Yeah. I think that's I think that's really all there is when it comes down to it, is information and learning and knowledge and application of that knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
I guess wisdom is the application of knowledge, right?
Integrated
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah. And you manifest that, for lack of a better word, when you act.
Exactly.
Right. And I don't think that everybody, we talked about this earlier, like, information is so crazy right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you have to pick a side, you're more likely to pick the side that the people around you are picking.
Exactly. You want to blend in.
Yeah, you don't
want to stick out like a sore thumb, because that's vulnerable.
Yeah.
You could get everything taken away from you if you don't have the consensus opinion
of your people.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Your parents, your family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's like, I just find it hard to have a lot of opinions anymore.
Yeah,
it's
same.
Just like I don't know what's going on with anything.
Yeah,
I
just want to be
tons of chatter and a lot of like very aggressive chatter one way or another about a lot of things, and I just like, can we have like nuanced conversation?
I think it's really hard, because social media is text based. I've talked about this probably way too much.
Yeah.
So apologies to anyone who listens to every episode, but like text based shit is always going to miss the mark, because you're not hearing tone, you're not seeing the person who's saying the things, and
exactly.
And you can just resort to cut downs and name calling, and it's all about winning. But now I'm just drifting off.
Yeah. I think like one thing I've been feeling lately too is that when I was like in my 20s, I thought I was so much more wise and I had so many more opinions.
Yeah, same.
And just like, I'm 34 now. Like as I'm getting older, I'm just realizing like you have to have a lot of life experience to actually become a wise being. And like I've been surprised, I convinced myself I was so wise at like 25. And then continually lately, I think I've been realizing how foolish that perspective was and how naive I am to so many aspects of reality.
Same.
And I think that's always something to keep in the back of your mind, is like, I could be totally off on this shit. And
yeah.
I don't know. It's like, I hardly know how to paint. And that's like what I do the most.
Yeah, same. Yeah. There's always more you can learn.
Exactly.
I think my whole stance on it is just to be kind to everyone and give them, and that's why I think like you don't want to throw away the whole idea of like agency or will, but like the idea of free, like somehow this, like, you could act right now differently than you've ever acted before in your life. I think that's kind of like incorrect way of looking at reality, right? Like, I think there's a paradox there, honestly. Like, will is not free, but you can work on yourself.
Yeah,
you can get better.
Yeah,
like
totally.
People can improve, and you should strive to do that, I think.
Yeah, afford that for yourself and for others.
Yeah, and it takes away like all logical basis for like hating someone for who they are. It's just like, someone born in the holler of Eastern Kentucky is, I don't know, they are just who they are because of their parents and where they were born and the environment. And like they had no control over that.
Exactly. And it's like not enabling, maybe if they have some views that you think are incorrect or even hateful, it's not enabling or supporting those things, but also it's ridiculous and unfair to expect that person to have the same perspective of somebody living in New York City. Yeah. It's just unfair.
Yeah.
And to be angry at them for not acting like they're thinking like people do in big cities, it's just not fair, and that's a lack of empathy for that human being. And it's like, I think the change comes more when there is empathy and
Yeah.
openness. Like, instead of the immediate finger pointing and chastising towards that person because they grew up maybe in a weird spot with weird ideas floating around them.
Yeah.
Just
But I would also encourage all those people to kind of, look at history and look at the trajectory of human interaction on the planet.
yeah.
Like maybe get on the internet off of like whatever, different. Just take in information, like more information.
Yeah.
The
more
like
information you have, the easier it is to love more people, I think.
right, because in my mind, I'm also trying to play devil's advocate for all this shit that we're saying is like, yeah, there's the internet now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
And there is that problem of like what information is true or false, and it's hard to sift through. But like, I think that we are evolving, maybe higher levels of bullshit detection.
Yeah.
And that's very important. And thanks for coming to our TED Talk.
I wonder if this is interesting at all.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like people have probably turned this off by now.
Yeah.
But if you haven't, thanks for sticking around.
Well, it's so funny because like the way the whole landscape has changed and like all the things that we're talking about now are like everything feels like a touchy subject.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Yeah.
And it's like I genuinely like I don't want to piss anybody off.
I
either.
don't. No, I want to be like generally friends or at least friendly and kind with everybody.
I know like that would be the ultimate reality to me. It would be I could be everybody's friend.
Yeah.
And everybody could be everybody's friend.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know if we're quite there yet. But
No, we're not.
I think to at least try to play that role a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of people will be mad at you for wanting to be everybody's friend.
Right. Yeah.
Like any perspective or opinion you have, there's gonna be a ton of people really pissed off at you.
Yeah. Like if I had more listeners to this show,
Mm-hmm.
they'd be like right now,
Yeah.
But thanks for listening. I love you. Yeah. Let's talk about art.
All right.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Dude, how do you? I got a question. I got a question for you, John Speaker.
Let's hear it.
How do you fight the eternal inner critic that says that everything you do is bullshit?
Ooh, I don't know. I contend with it every day.
Yeah, I do too.
And I really think, I don't know, at the beginning of this whole art journey, I just decided I was going to dedicate my life to art.
Mm-hmm.
So despite the inner critic, like I'm just going to keep making shit. And like anytime that inner critic comes in, if I work through it, like there's like kind of like this internal battle of good versus evil, It's like in like Christian terms or something, the inner critic is Satan and creativity is God or something, It's like I don't know, like the creative angels have to overpower the demons or something. And, but like anytime I work through the inner critic, I pop out the other side with something that makes me feel pretty happy.
Yeah.
But
do you feel like you're driven by your demons at all?
No. Well, I think I'm driven to conquer the demons, but the demons don't fuel me.
Mm-hmm.
The demons like take me down, make me want to lay on the couch and watch a movie or something and like avoid responsibility.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm always contending with that.
Have you read The War of Art?
Yeah.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great book. Stephen Pressfield? I think it's Stephen Pressfield.
Stephen Pressfield. Yeah.
And if you guys don't know this guy's story, it's pretty fucking awesome. Like he was like he did all these kind of crazy, just low end jobs. He was a truck driver for a while.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't write his first successful novel until he was like in his 50s or something like that.
He was like 40s or 50s, yeah.
And it was he wrote Bagger Vance. I've never like seen the movie or read the book, but
it was like a best-selling book that got turned into a movie.
Yeah,
it became like a sensation.
But I think he talks a lot about persistence and like, distraction and what's the word? Not distraction.
Resistance. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like resistance to create, right?
Yeah.
And I think everyone struggles with this who is a creative person, like,
Of course.
because you have to be self-motivated to create.
Mm-hmm.
And some days you just aren't feeling it for whatever reason.
Dude, I've been lacking motivation for like 3 months,
Yeah.
but I've still been making shit.
Yeah.
And I really recommend reading The War of Art
Yeah.
because now that you brought it up, I think that book is what kind of like rewired my mind
Mm-hmm.
to like, oh, I'm not feeling it. I'm still going to keep making shit.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
It's just showing up. I don't know if this might be a Tom Waits quote or I'm paraphrasing. I'm going to fuck it up. But it's like, I think someone asked Tom Waits like something about the muse.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, if you're, the muse comes whenever it comes.
Yeah.
Right. The inspiration strikes whenever it does.
Mm-hmm.
But the more you're in front of the easel or in front of a mic or whatever it is that you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
the more likelihood that you'll be inspired in the right moment.
Exactly. Yeah, and a lot of the time it's like I won't feel motivated or inspired.
Yeah.
But then 3 hours into a session, all of a sudden the muse pops in.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay.
You're like,
Here
hell
we
yeah.
go. Here we are, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, you got to show up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I forget what the Mike Tyson quote was. Something about, like, he said he believes in luck, but, like, the more you train, the luckier you get. Like,
yeah, I think it's like persistence sort of like increases the area in which like luck can stick to.
Yeah.
It increases like that overall volume of space
For sure
that luck can land on and stick to, right?
Yeah, I often talk about my art like I'm really just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
Like I'm just constantly just pumping out, I'm like not the most technically skilled painter, like I don't know, I'm not classically trained, but I'm just keep making shit and be like, do you like this? You guys like that? Do I like that? Is this cool? Is that fun?
Yeah.
Just keep taking chances.
Yeah. You got to show up.
Yeah. You
got to be there.
But something else that I kind of want to talk about is burnout.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about it. So yes, I feel burnout.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy too, like I haven't made nearly as many paintings as like someone like you.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes the thoughts pop up like, will I ever be actually successful?
Shit.
That's kind of, that's the thing that eats at me.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me, there's that like, you kind of get like that deflated feeling or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to quit. I like, sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this? Should I just start something new?
Yeah.
Should I look into comedy?
Mm-hmm.
Should
yeah,
all that stuff just nagging at me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know really how I deal with it other than just to persevere and persist.
Yeah, keep going on.
Yeah. I like, there is literally nothing more powerful
mm-hmm.
or that I've found that can get you through those like shitty times where like your thoughts just take over everything.
Yeah.
And a side note to that, like, like realizing that your thoughts are just thoughts,
mm-hmm.
that you don't necessarily have control over them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're going to pop in there, but you don't have to pay attention to them.
Yeah, you don't have to attach to them. And
until you realize that that's an option, you're going to be thinking all the time without realizing you're thinking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to take your thoughts as reality.
Exactly.
Because like, why wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not obvious that you aren't your thoughts.
Right. It's not. It's definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to believe all your thoughts.
Yeah.
Some of them are just total bullshit.
Most.
Yeah. I would say most.
Yeah.
Like even all the stuff that we just talked about,
it's all bullshit.
We're probably wrong.
Yeah.
But how do you deal with it? I know that we've talked about it a lot.
I'm trying to learn because like for so long I was super inspired and fired up and excited about art.
Yeah.
And then like in the past year, I've kind of slowly just, I hate to say it, but it's started to feel a little bit like a chore.
Mm.
And especially everything, like I always love to paint.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love that part, but especially like everything surrounding the art, like
Yeah.
posting to Instagram, taking photographs of the art,
Yeah.
getting the prints made, packing the prints, like doing all
But
those
that's why you
things.
got your sweatshop guys.
Yeah.
Your
yeah,
clones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, all that stuff has been like, like the other day I was just like, man, I don't know if I could do this anymore. I was just
Yeah.
like, and I've been able to have some level of success because, I've been making art every day, like make whatever new painting comes out, I'll make a print for it and this, and do that whole process. And it's worked so well, but I'm just feeling like burnt out and
Yeah.
not inspired and just like kind of tired.
Yeah.
And then I have this fear. I'm scared to, like, my kind of inner wisdom or whatever is telling me like, dude, just take a break.
Yeah.
Start taking like a few days off a week for a while until you're ready to get back at it again.
Yeah.
But I'm scared to kind of stop my momentum because
Yeah.
I've also noticed like if I'm not working on new art and I'm not posting
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have like new prints out or something, nobody buys my art, so that I don't make money.
Yeah.
But then, it's like, how long can I just stay on the same path and keep that going?
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily like feeling very fulfilling at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm kind of like actively in the face of what we just said with the persistence is like, actually I'm thinking a lot more about like self-care and starting to take multiple days off a week
Yeah.
just for the next short time period, maybe like next couple weeks or something, and just try to, I don't know, recharge the batteries, maybe just go out on hikes, enjoy things, get some novelty, maybe see some new places, and
Mm-hmm.
just have fun
Yeah.
for a little bit. It was all kind of confusing.
Mm-hmm.
It's, like, I don't know. I don't really know what's the correct way to go. And I know there's also kind of the idea of, whatever you do is perfect. That's what you should be doing. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to take time off, but I'm scared of failure.
Yeah. Yeah. I am too. I think that the fear of failure drives me quite a bit.
Same here.
And because, I mean, I think that that's honestly why I've kept the podcast going.
Yeah.
It's because I think it's okay to fail, and I think it's all actually necessary to fail.
Yeah.
But like, it's weird because back when my art was like objectively worse than it is now,
Mm-hmm.
I was so much more into it. I was just like, yeah, like, and I'm talking like for me personally, like anything before 2016, 17, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you do have to experience life in order to feel inspired, I think.
Totally.
You can't just be in your little cave painting all day and have
you got to
some
be
kind
inspired by the world.
Yeah. You got to
Mhm.
get out into nature if that's your thing, or go see people. And I think like just to circle back on that, like now everything's opening up. That's why I think I felt so great yesterday going to that Andrew Davis show at Ryan Joseph Gallery, shouts, and that inspired me. It's like talking to people, right?
Totally.
And like seeing everybody seemed like so like relieved,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and we could all just coexist there.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe like, I don't know, maybe you don't agree with everybody, right? But you have to admit that it's nice to gather in the same space as people,
Of course.
and enjoy some art.
Yeah.
And
get you out of your own shit, man.
And
like,
laugh with people and bullshit, and it's great,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I want to do more of that, like start going places with more people, and like do solo trips places too, like out in nature and shit. And like I just want to try to formulate a sustainable life path. And
definitely,
it's something I guess they're always kind of learning and adjusting to.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I think for like a couple years now, I've really wanted to slow down, but I've been too scared to.
Yeah.
And I think I'm finally to the point where I'm just like, I'm fucking
Take
tired.
a breath. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a breath.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. I think that like the thing about momentum is so key though too.
Yeah.
And you know, I want anybody like younger artists, less experienced artists, whatever, to take away both things. Like you have to fucking grind.
Yep.
You have to keep your head down to a certain extent and just keep making work until you kind of like burst through and you get this level of momentum that can carry you, and if you want to be an artist who, like us, makes their living off of it, you really do have to have momentum.
Exactly.
But like if you're feeling burnt out, you gotta step back.
Yeah.
You gotta step back sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like there are days during the week that I don't paint, like maybe once or twice a week. Like I won't paint the whole day.
Yeah.
And I think I gotta say, shout outs to our own podcast, my podcast now. It helps with that a lot.
Yeah.
Because there are days where I just concentrate on this.
Yeah, that's cool to have that other outlet. It's still a creative outlet too.
Yeah.
I'm sure it like inspires your work in some way, and
yeah,
it helps you refresh the batteries too. Just pay attention to something else, not think about painting.
Yeah.
All the time.
Right.
It's like for like 10 years now, I've been like, you got to make art every day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've made art pretty much every day for 10 years.
Yeah.
But I was telling you before the podcast, like I was talking to a friend, and he was saying,
will remain nameless.
Yeah, Randall.
It's Randall.
Randall Roberts. But yeah, we were talking the other day because I was telling him about how I was feeling kind of burnout and just, it was hard to stimulate inspiration lately or feel excited. And he's like, yeah, like the first, 1,000 times you have sex, it's like, oh my God,
That's all you want to do.
It's the greatest thing in the whole world.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, after you've been doing it for decades, like you still enjoy it and you like it, but it's not like, oh my God, this is the greatest, most revelatory, incredible thing. I can't wait to do it. And he was saying like that kind of happens with painting too. I've made, I don't know how many paintings, like let's just say 1,000 paintings.
Yeah, that's a lot, by the way.
And it's like,
congrats.
Thanks. But yeah, it was like so exciting and so new and everything for a long time. But it's like I've made so many paintings.
Yeah.
Been doing it for a while. As like it's not that surprising that maybe it's not quite as exciting as it once was. But maybe it's like taking more time off here and there is better, just to be inspired by life, have fun with life, and then I'll be like really excited to get back to it.
Yeah.
And over the years, like I've learned how to become so efficient at painting, and I have a bunch of like tricks up my sleeve and things I know how to do. So like I can always show up and make something cool.
Right.
And yeah, it's just switching the flow up a little bit and realizing that like, like you don't ever get to go back to the beginning stages of anything. Like even like, like psychedelic use.
Yeah.
It's like those first however many trips were just so like, I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
So intriguing. The experiences were so exciting and incredible and revelatory.
Yeah.
And even like psychedelics are like kind of boring to me now.
Boring?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I've been here, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Like even like
you don't get the, for lack of a better word, download. It's kind of the same download. It's more of like a reminder right now instead of like a breakthrough.
Yeah, because like you've been there, seen that in certain ways. Like I've been, I remember like a DMT trip like a year ago. I got rocket launched to the center of the universe, the language spewing out of this wellspring, like, and I audibly went, I get it. And then I snapped out of it. I was like, it was like not remarkable.
Damn. So it's the same thing too. Like I know Alan Watts has that famous phrase of like, once you get the message, hang up the phone.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just, you don't have to hang it up forever.
Yeah.
But
maybe for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like these certain things that I was doing in my life for years that were keeping me so inspired and excited about life, all of a sudden don't really have the same effect that they used to.
Yeah.
But I have to let go of my idea of I don't want to hold on to what those things used to be. So I have
Right.
to like learn to let go of that and just readjust my life and integrate with life in a different way. I think
Yeah.
it's like this kind of burnout or a lack of inspiration type space that I'm in.
Yeah.
It's actually a gift because it's a gift to experience life in a different way.
And to relax a little bit.
Yeah. And I'm kind of like in a, I suppose like some sort of transitionary phase in my life where I'm kind of like, I don't really know what to do right now.
Yeah.
Like everything that used to work doesn't really work anymore. I'm still making things work. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I have to like relearn how to be a person and an artist
Yeah.
in certain ways.
Totally.
And it's like scary,
Yeah.
but also just talking here, I'm also realizing, oh, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think just simply framing something instead of being like scared that things don't work the way they used to, and instead being like, oh, that means that there's great opportunity ahead of me and I can't even see what's coming.
Right.
Like to tap into that, that's so much cooler.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're starting to pay attention more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like synchronicities start coming up whenever you
Or you
just
notice
tell yourself
Yeah.
a story like something's coming.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's going to be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my little spiel about myself.
Great. Yeah. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, we just did an hour and a half.
Wow.
That flew by.
It really did.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a half hour. Or
I think that's a great place to end it, though.
yeah.
like-
Sounds good.
Stay inspired as much as you can. If
Mhm.
you need to take a break, take a break.
Yeah. Yeah. Do everything all the time and also take time off.
Yep.
So,
A nice little paradox to end on.
yeah.
Well, thanks, man. And I love you.
Love you too.
Yeah. Appreciate you doing this last minute for me.
Thanks so much, man. It's
I-
always a blast.
I was so busy this week trying to finish this painting for Threyda.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to plug the show?
Yeah. Shouts to that. May 28th and 29th, Denver, Colorado. Threyda, Peter Westerman's company Threyda, is having a group show at the Threyda Gallery on Santa Fe. Check it out. I'll put links in the description.
It's going to be killer.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I dropped off my work the other day, and there are about 10 other artists there dropping their work off, and everybody's stuff looks phenomenal.
Hell yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah. And shout out to Peter for putting that on and getting some new blood in there.
Hell yeah.
Really excited. And yeah, I'll be plugging it, I think, the next couple of podcasts.
Cool.
All right, Johnny.
Well, thank you so much. Everybody have a wonderful life.
Yeah. All right. Shouts and peace and love.